What's up, bros? Welcome to another Brograph Brocast. I'm Dave Koss.
And I'm Matt Milstead.
And this is a podcast that's a supplement to Brograph.com, a tutorial website that talks all about motion graphics, specifically Cinema 4D, After Effects, and the technical stuff around it and the industry around it.
Yes, and also freelancing, as well as going out on your own and making money and different stuff that you can do in order to sell yourself and make yourself better.
That's right.
Be a better businessman. Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
So we've got a relatively short episode this week, just because I've been not in town much. Mm-hmm. So wasn't able to really do much but work this week. So
yeah. Were you doing any Cinema 4D on the road? Like, I saw the video that you sent me. Is that just like a graphics thing? Like, are you building the graphics and then throwing them up and you're doing the switching of the graphics as well? Because that's what it looked like you were doing.
I'm doing some switching of graphics, and the director's doing most of the switching.
Okay.
And
just
I'm
curious.
building stuff and all that. It's basically, I'm going out. I did a tour for like a decade called the Women of Faith Tour. And I was the graphics guy. And I would build the graphics, and I would run the graphics and all of this. And for years and years and years, I did that. Met a lot of people, and then I went and did some other tours. And then I went back to that and really got to know like an incredible group of people. Incredible group of guys. And so I haven't been on the road much. Last year I did the Oprah tour, which was the most touring I had done in quite a while. And same boss came back to me and he said, hey, the guy doing these graphics, when they added the 4 shows, he can't do these last 4 shows. And it's the last 4 they're ever doing. This is like a goodbye, farewell tour. So I said, yeah, totally. I'd love to be there for the last ones because I was there for a decade. Like, I grew up doing that. So I'm doing that. And I was in Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C. represent.
Ran into somebody that I knew at the airport in D.C. this morning who was getting on my flight, which is crazy. Guy I knew since first grade. So
that's crazy.
Was a small world. But yeah, so it's crazy. There's a bunch of new people out there as well, especially in video. And so like I know all these people and all these inside kind of stories and jokes and all this stuff. And they're like, what? Huh? I'm like, it's a legacy for sure. There's a movie coming out about it.
About you?
Not about me.
Just... I saw some video that someone posted on Facebook with you dancing in the background or something.
Oh, that was old. That was really
that
old.
Was funny. Was really funny.
That's the kind of stuff we did though at the breaks, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Doing goofs and dancing in front of 18,000 people was pretty funny. We would always have some sort of gags and stuff we did with the audience. But what's cool is this movie is coming out, and I was able to actually see some of it last night, which was interesting. So the end of it also, it is basically just talks about the whole 20 years that they were on the road. And I was 20 years old when I started working out there. And I am now 35. So you can imagine I've seen a lot go on. So very, very emotional and all that, and should be very good. The kind of cool thing about it is it's a limited engagement, so you have to find. There's actually a lot of theaters that are showing it, but they're all showing it at the same time, on a couple different days. And what's interesting about it is I'm going to the movie theater by my parents' house that I worked at as a projectionist to go see it. It was my first job. So I'm going to my first job to go watch a movie about my second job.
That's really funny.
So I'm kind of, that's going to be really weird, as I'm moving into really my third job. I've had other jobs and stuff along the way, technically, but like those are like
Who cares
the big,
about those jobs? This is the big job.
These are the big milestones. Like, you know, your first job is always a big deal, you know, and then like my first career, because it was such a long time span, that's really what that was. And yeah, I've worked for ad agencies and whatnot in between, but they weren't that long.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of like rounding that out and finishing that up as I go into what I would consider my third career, which is, you know, being independent, and hopefully that's successful.
Oh, yeah, it will be. I got faith.
We'll talk about success later on in the program today as well.
Word.
So DC, yeah, haven't been around much this week. Have you been doing stuff?
I've been
animating.
No, I haven't been doing a lot of animating. We haven't had a lot of work to do. We just got in a really big project where I'm going to have to create an entire room scene, you know, based off of a picture, which is always kind of fun. I should do a tutorial on it. Like where you can measure like the distances and stuff, and it'll show you exactly, it'll set up a camera exactly for you, which is kind of neat. But so you've got to measure this picture that they give us, and then I build around that, which is kind of cool.
Oh yeah, you got to do a tutorial on that.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I don't know. I mean, there are tutorials out there, you know.
Have you been doing espresso?
I've been doing a lot of espresso. So I've been trying to, like, I started over on this furniture builder one, you know, because I want to be able to do, like, I want to be able to have this as like a skeleton and say if you want to create a bed, if you want to create a, you know, desk, if you want to create a couch, if you want to create a chair, you know, you can do all of this stuff from the same one, you know. So, but it's just taken a lot of work.
Rather than having just the individual items?
Yeah. So, I don't know. And I kind of reorganized it a little bit. And I want to be able to, because with couches, if you ever look at a couch, like, I wanted to be able to change it to where I'm using extrudes, you know? Oh my gosh, my kid's yelling at me. Hi. I want to use extrudes, but you know, sometimes you'll extrude it on the Z axis, and sometimes you'll extrude it on the X axis, depending on if you want to use facets, you know, around it, and where you want the facets to be. So like, I've been looking at couches, and so I wanted to be able to have that option on the arms, you know, and the back. To be able to change which way you're extruding. That way you can put a custom spline in there and extrude it that way. I don't know. So
let me ask you something. On these different things that you can turn on and off in the scene, say you want a desk or whatever, and I don't have it in front of me, I'd have to look, but does it like keep the geometry technically in the viewport even if you have them turned off?
No, because when you click them off, I set the espresso to turn off visible and then turn off in renderer as well.
But it doesn't still calculate those technically, even though
I have no idea. I have not put it into Octane at all yet. Like I'm not doing it in Octane. I'm just setting up the plugin. I haven't put it into anything, and I'm worried that I'm gonna have to find a way around it, because there are certain things that I want to do. Like I want to be able to add like bumps, or like, you know, make the cushion a little bit puffy, you know, puffy.
Yeah.
And using an extrude, I don't know if there's a way to do that without like maybe adding a I don't know, like a displacement map or something like that, you know.
Right. That should be fine. Or well, you could do a displacement deformer.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So
but I would check that geometry thing, because your solution would be to control layers with Espresso in order to make those truly not be visible in scene.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, I'm just kind of putting it all together, and I was able to actually use my window builder the other day, which I was really happy about.
Cool.
I built a temporary room and I was able to throw it in there and it was just a basic window, but built a room scene really quick in about an hour and a half. Even
nice.
Throwing all the tiles, and everything up there. Tiles on the floor, tiles in 2 different areas, different tiles, and there was, oh my gosh, 40, was it 40? No, it was 72 different tiles. So.
That's cool.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. And lighting plugins, I guess, coming along. I don't have that much more to do on it. It's just finding time to finish it. And the thing is, I got to get it done because we can't mention who, but we have a big name possible buyer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm real excited about that, if that's a possibility. So, yeah, not much more we can say about that. But, I've been out there just because I've been out there selling.
Trying to crush it.
ABC, always be selling.
Oh, jeez.
Right?
Yes, ABC? I guess.
Yeah.
ABC already been chewed? Oh, come on. You're stealing from them. No.
I didn't say always be spelling.
No.
I don't know. Yeah, and I've been out there doing that thing and talking it up and trying to talk to people and get more gigs and the whole thing while I'm working, and that's always the hard part, is trying to still be selling things while you're doing the work, so that when you're done with the work, then you have something else to work on. Instead of being like, okay, there's nothing to work on and I don't have any meetings, I'm not selling any, like I've got to get back out there. You want to kind of be able to balance that out. So it's going to be a busy week and a busy month, really.
Yeah.
Good. A lot of production in the pipeline. So
good.
So yeah, I started another Almost Daily, but I didn't finish it. And really, that's the point.
That's the point of the Almost Dailies.
That's the point of the Almost Dailies. It's a term that we came up with. It's a hashtag Almost Daily. If you haven't heard us talk about it, it is a term we came up with when we realized that daily renders or models or whatever aren't always a viable option.
Sometimes they're hard to get to.
Yeah, they're hard to get to. You got paid work and your family, which comes first. And it's just to keep the spirit of daily renders.
Yeah.
Even if you can't do it. Like, it would be great if I could, but like, the other day I'm trying to get out the door. I got to get to the airport. When am I going to sit there and do a render? Like, really? At midnight when I get in on my flight? Like,
yeah, every daily render is just a box.
Yeah.
With a floor.
So
shiny ball. There we go. Shiny ball every day.
Shiny balls every day.
Hashtag shiny ball every day.
Shiny ball every day.
For a day.
So, I'm doing what I can. I've got some inspiration and whatnot that I've set aside, and I have something that's about halfway built. Maybe I'll get to it tonight, maybe not, maybe tomorrow. But yeah, I mean that's the whole point of the whole thing. So if you want to participate in your dailies, and they're not always daily, feel free to use that hashtag Almost Daily.
Hashtag Almost Daily. That's good.
And we got an email about that too.
Did we?
From Florian, who says, "Hey Dave, just listened to the Brograph podcast episode 16. If you're still wondering what that Rocket Beans bot was talking about in German, he asks you if you're really watching it every day. Referring to a German YouTube channel, which used to be on TV, called Rocket Beans. They've got a irregularly appearing show called Almost Daily. So I guess you're going to get at least some visitors by accident from Germany looking for said show. Hope that helps.
That's funny.
Greetings from a regular listener, and keep up the good stuff."
Almost Daily. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they've got a lot of...
It's funny.
Maybe we should change that.
No, we're a completely different genre. We can use the same hashtag.
Okay. Yeah, and we're not German.
Yeah, I mean, they're nice people.
Yeah, they are.
But, yeah. No one who speaks German can be an evil man.
Right.
But, so that explains that. And so in the Cinema 4D subreddit, I actually mentioned to somebody that I would bring this up on the show this week.
So shout out to that person on the Cinema 4D subreddit.
Brendan Fraser, which is probably not that person's real name, or maybe it is.
George of the Jungle, to life.
Yeah.
Who knew he was into Cinema 4D?
Mm-hmm.
I love the way he laughs and claps at the same time.
Now, this is also something that Paul Robinson brought up on Twitter. It's a very similar question. And so I thought we could kind of put these two things together and talk about them a little bit.
Okay.
I'll post a link to that thread so that people can see it, because it had some good answers from people in it. It says, every time I see a post made by a C4D artist, people generally say something like, nice, did you render that with Octane? So now here's my question. Does Octane actually give you renders these juicy, currently trendy looks made famous by people like Beeple, or is it really just another tool to make your pipeline faster? And there's a lot of layers to that.
What was your answer? Because I've got an answer.
Well, go ahead with your answer first.
Well, here's the thing. I think, I think it's both. Like, yes, the render engine does create something really, really nice looking, and it does make it faster. It is faster. It's a faster tool. You know, if you're using direct lighting in Octane, it is much faster than any other renderer out there. And yeah, it does just create a much, much prettier picture.
I feel the same way. And some people were talking about the physical render could be just as nice. Which it could be.
I've seen some good stuff. I mean, you sent me some of Lance's stuff, and I was like, oh, is that Octane? You're like, no, that's just the physical renderer. You know,
right.
It still looked good.
And sometimes it requires more post-processing to achieve that look, too. But see, Paul's question, to tie it in here, was getting an Octane-esque render without using Octane. And so that's why I kind of put these together. So my answer to Brendan Fraser was that I do feel like there's a look, like you said, I do feel like there's a look to Octane, because for one, when the new Maxon demo reel came out for R17, the first thing I saw was one of the renders. I think it was like an old school reel to reel or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that looks like Octane. And I was like, but it's, you know, showing off the new Cinema 4D, so I don't see why that would be Octane. I guess their physical render is just better. And then over the next few hours, it came out that that's a whole bunch of different render engines in that demo. And that one particular scene was Octane.
Yeah.
There is a look about Octane that is hard to place, and it's just one of those things where the more you use it, the more you see it.
Totally.
The more you can point it out. But at the same time, you could have all the best tools in the world, and you could still be producing garbage.
Yeah, absolutely. It's. I will say it's a little bit harder to produce garbage using Octane because the tools are so easy.
They are easy. They're very easy.
You know, so my company this week bought 3ds Max. We also bought V-Ray, and this is one thing that I want to talk about V-Ray. I'll get to that in a second. But and we also bought Octane. I convinced them, like, 3ds Max was on sale, and V-Ray, we were able to get V-Ray for a little bit of a discount, and the money that we saved we threw over to Octane too. And what's cool about Octane is it's just as simple in 3ds Max. Like, all the stuff is exactly the same. And that's like cool. It is really nice, because it means that, like, everything I'm creating in 3ds Max, of course I'm going to use Octane for it. And it's fast, and it's exactly the same, which is great. So, but V-Ray,
can you save a scene and, like, bring it in with Octane textures into Cinema?
I have no idea. That's a good question.
Because you'd have to save it out as a different kind of scene, but would those translate somehow?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know, can't you export something as an Octane scene for, like, the Octane standalone renderer?
I guess you could do that. I don't know if you can bring it back in though. I have never tried.
I don't know. We should try it.
For it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so V-Ray, when you're buying V-Ray through Chaos Group versus V-Ray through V-Ray for C4D, V-Ray for C4D is awesome because you can buy it, you can purchase it right there, you can download it, you can install it. Fantastic. You're up and working within 30 minutes, right? V-Ray for 3ds Max or Maya, you have to call one of their selling agents, the closest one to you or whatever. Then they have to order a dongle for you.
Really?
And yes. And so then then they have to ship the dongle to you. So from point of you giving them, and so the email back and forth, they're like, okay, you want to pay this for it. Okay, I'll send you an invoice. Okay, then you pay that over the internet and then I'll get everything ordered and then we'll get the shipment to you. So like I ordered it Tuesday. I finally got the dongle on Friday to where I could finally use V-Ray.
Have they always used the dongle?
Yes. And I told the guy, I said, this is so stupid. Why are we using a dongle? He's like, this is just the way the people in Berlin or wherever want what they want to do. They're stuck on it.
Well, we didn't have a dongle when I used it back at one of the places I worked at. Maybe it wasn't legit.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't even know that.
And
it was just on the computer.
Like, if you're in a rush in order to get that done, like, it would not surprise me if someone were to just, find a crack of it or something,
right. Wow.
It almost pushes people to want to steal the stuff because it's so hard to get a hold of initially,
Wow.
I don't know. So
sorry, I was drinking some Monster.
No, it's all good. I was Bye, buddy. Good night.
So,
Sorry.
yeah, okay, so that's one thing. But like people like Beeple, people like Ash Thorpe, I think there is, well, first of all, everybody loves their style.
Yeah.
I love their style.
Yeah, I do too.
I kind of, here's the problem, is that I'm really good at creating, especially stuff like Beeple does. I'm good at creating that stuff, but then when it comes to doing dailies, I feel like if I'm doing something similar, then it's like I'm just trying to emulate Beeple.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that. I want to do stuff that's different than that. And I see a lot of people doing their dailies, and everything is like dystopian landscape. And I'm like...
Brograph cloner objects with a random effector on it. I see that all the time.
Right. And so I'm trying not to do a dystopian landscape with a guy walking in it and a big moon and weird colors, and then just, Brograph cloner objects everywhere. Like, personally, if like, I want to try different styles, but I'm very good with architectural stuff.
Yeah.
Not like the stuff you're doing per se, like rooms and stuff, but more like buildings and stuff. I think I'm pretty decent at, and so I'm kind of taking a go at doing some like abstract architectural stuff.
Okay,
that's
cool.
Going to be my next daily. So I'm kind of going to go that
interior or
direction.
exterior.
This one is technically an interior, but it's a very large open space.
Okay.
If you ever saw The Third and the Seventh, which is
that a movie?
It's a short that was done in 3D Max with V-Ray.
Yeah, I think so. It was like the super big, and wasn't there a book about it or something?
Yeah, he sold a book. He did the music, he did the animation, he did all.
Yeah, that was cool. It was super realistic.
Super realistic, really inspirational to me. It was really at the beginning of my kind of resurgence into 3D, and so it was inspiring. Like, that stuff to me, like, I love that stuff. So I think I'm going to try and go that direction. I might do the occasional landscape type thing, because I like doing landscapes and stuff, but I don't want it to look like I'm trying to be Beeple. I don't want it to look like I'm trying to be Ash Thorpe, because I'm not, and I don't want to be them. You know, I want to have my own style.
Yeah.
So, you know, people see that and then they're like, oh, that stuff looks so good, you know? But there's so much more to it. Like, number one, it's practice. Just doing it over and over and over again. You know, when you and I are able to sit down and knock out a logo in a few hours that looks really clean, it's because we've done it a freaking million times.
Yeah, totally.
And that's the only reason. You know, when I started doing logos, like in...
Yeah, it used to take me a whole day to do a logo. Now I can knock one out in like 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how difficult it is. If it's just text, 20 minutes maybe.
I've come up
now
with
that I'm using Octane, it's like...
Yeah. Yeah, so. You don't even have to wait long for the render, and you can see what it looks like right away. You just build it and you knock it out. And, you know, there's projects that I'll work on 3 or 4 hours, man. I will have something just completely polished and complete, and client's happy with. The same thing applies when you try and do that kind of thing, do a daily or whatever, and something that looks, you know, like this guy says, like juicy, trendy. It's just the repetitiveness. So it's like you've got to be ready.
That's it's funny, like the repetitiveness. That's one reason why I wanted to build this kind of plugin or whatever, is because I find myself anytime I want to build a couch or something like that, I'm doing the exact same thing over and over and over again. You know, so why not just build a plugin that I can click on a few buttons and then start with a base and work my way from there?
Right.
You know, I don't know.
And that's the thing. There's a lot of preparation involved in order to get to that point where you can just keep doing that. You know, this whole conversation will probably lead right into our success conversation, but you know, so Octane physical render, yes, Octane gives it a certain look. Can you make good renders in physical render? Of course you can.
Absolutely.
But it's about knowing.
You can make stuff in like not in physical renderer as well. You can make good stuff in...
Oh yeah, just regular.
Yeah.
You know, even without ambient occlusion, even without GI, you can make stuff that looks really good. And it's not just about that. It's about having an eye for it. It's about knowing design elements and styles. It's about knowing what you can do in post. Excuse me. So even, you know, I mean, I made that real simple almost daily or whatever last week. But if you saw the original and then you saw what I did in post, it's kind of night and day. And that applies to a lot of things I do. I spend a lot of time in post.
Yeah,
I love spending
I
that
do
time
too.
in post.
Especially like I will render out object buffers of every single wall that I do, or anything where there's going to be a texture from what the client is providing, whether a wallpaper or like a tile or whatever. I got to render out object buffers of those because I have to do color correction in post. There's no way around that, because you can't get the same color in Cinema 4D as, like, I always tell my guys, I say, anytime we take the photos, I say, don't color correct it before I throw it in 3D, because you're just going to have to color correct it after the fact anyway. So
right, leave it all flat. And that's the other thing is I feel like sometimes the physical render stuff, I think we talked about this not too long ago. Physical render stuff can look a bit flat. It just, I don't know, just feel like it doesn't have depth. Of course, you know, having your depth of field that is so good in Octane really helps with that. But then just being able to bring stuff in After Effects and just bring certain things out, add vignetting, highlight certain things, maybe crush blacks or use curves or something like that. That's really going to make things like, you know, that horrible word that we don't like to use, but make things pop. That's what that experience and just knowing and being able to work on that stuff in cinema and see the end result in your head.
Yeah.
You know, about knowing, okay, well, I'm going to leave this flat here because I'm going to bring out this part once I get into After Effects, and I need to buffer this. object buffer this because I know I'm going to need to bring out this area, and this is what I'm going to do here, and that's why I'm not making this too bright. And just having that kind of sixth sense of what you're going to do, and like just seeing posts in your head before it's even ever done.
Yeah.
That's what makes people like Beeple be able to do that, because of course he puts a ton of posts into what he does.
Yeah.
The things I'm sure he goes into Photoshop.
Yeah.
There's crazy
I go into Photoshop. That's what I do in.
Yeah.
I do in Photoshop because I'm doing stills. But if I'm doing video, I do After Effects, of course.
And of course, like you said too, you've got that real-time feedback with Octane, and being able to you can't really tweak that last 10% in Physical Engine without spending a crazy amount of time, because if you're trying to figure out exactly where to put your light so that it just kind of glistens off the edge of some object, and get the exposure just right, well, every time you change it a tick, you're going to have to re-render just to see what the result is. And plus, you can't see the before and after real fast. You're going to have to screenshot the two and put them side by side and look at them and say, okay, I like this one better. And this had like a little bit more exposure, but this one, the light was tilted down a little more and the camera was off to the side. And that's stuff that you don't have to worry about in Octane, because you're sitting there making those minor last 10% tweaks on the fly, and you're seeing the result real time.
Yeah. My favorite thing about Octane is the lighting, being able to change the lighting and instantly see how well it's affecting your render.
Yeah. Trying to think what else we talked about in that thread. I'm bringing it up here. Like, there's a guy in here, Rage Quit, which again, he said Octane makes him enjoy working in 3D. And it's really true. Because when you're sitting there and having to wait, that's the frustrating part. Like, you just want it to look great, and you're just waiting. And I think that is what Octane, that speaks for me as well. That's what Octane did for me, is made me really, really love animating again, and like modeling and just setting up pretty scenes. We got into some other questions too. Like I started talking to that Rage guy, like about emission textures and sampling problems with emission textures, hot pixel removal, getting your sample ratios right, knowing like sample ratios between lights and between emission textures, and knowing all that stuff going into it. Again, having that experience, that's the preparation that you need to be able to pull something off like that. And you're doing your preparation every day by doing your dailies or your almost dailies, because you're coming up against possible problems or just issues that may arise, and fixing them, learning how you can tweak something here and there. Maybe one time you do it and it's okay, but then the next time you find out a better way to do it. And by the time you've done it a whole bunch of times, then you're just super fast at it. And you're seeing ahead. You got that sixth sense again. You're seeing ahead. You know exactly where it's going.
You know all the problems that you're going to encounter in the future, so you know how to get around those
before they happen.
Yeah, totally.
And sometimes it even has to do with the geometry you're building. Well, I'm building it this way from scratch because I don't want to compound this thing over and over and not use instances and then have calculation problems, and then that turns into sample problems. You're fixing the problems in your head from the beginning. And so then when it comes to like Paul's question, the second part of Paul's question, which is when will they... Well, actually, let's go back to his first, which is getting an Octane-esque render without using Octane. What would you do to accomplish that?
Getting a Octane-like render?
Without Octane.
Oh, I have no idea. I'd probably spend like 5 times... I'd use V-Ray. I don't know.
Okay, well, if you were going to use physical render, let's talk about what are the differences.
I honestly don't know. I don't use physical render that often. I mean,
or just standard render or
standard render. I would say depth of field is important.
Okay, so let's talk about that. How would you get around that?
If it's video, then motion blur, How would I get around depth of field? What do you mean?
How would you get a good depth of field from your regular render engine?
I would render out a depth pass and then use Frischlift. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I haven't done much with the actual depth of field in Cinema itself. Have you?
Yeah. No. I've used the motion blur. Wow. Why did that take me so long to get? I've used the motion blur one and rendered those out. And that takes a long time.
It does. And the depth is okay in Cinema, but really the second choice for me to Octane depth of field would be Frischluft in post.
Yeah.
The only thing that you don't get out of that really is that the Frischluft can't see what's not there.
Yeah.
So if you've got a real hard edge on something, and
that's the one thing I don't like.
Yeah, it's like, say something's in the foreground and you got a hard edge on it and you're really extremely blurring it. Well, it can't see the light or the geometry that's kind of refracting around that hard piece, and so you'll get kind of a hard line.
Yeah.
So you can't really take it to the extreme blur that you could if you were using the Octane and camera blur.
Yeah.
But that would be one step. But what about as far as texture? What are the things about Octane that make a texture look good?
I don't really know, because everything that I would do in Octane, I would do in the standard renderer. Add a bump, add reflection. Do one thing I like about Octane is that I can add a blurry reflection and it not kill my render time. When I want to add a little bit of a blur to a reflection in a standard material, it takes me forever to render.
Yeah, especially if you turn up your subsampling.
Exactly, and you don't have to do that in Octane, which is cool. But it goes back to the thing where does Octane just make it look better?
Right.
And the thing is, everything that I would do in Octane, I would do in the standard renderer. Octane is easier once you get your head around Octane, which you can do in about a day.
A week tops.
A week tops, and you got that thing down.
Yeah.
But like, the options are so simple.
Yeah, there's nothing to it.
There really isn't. And so, like, in comparison to the standard renderer, there are a lot more options. But it all comes down to the render engine just makes it look better. Because I can add reflection, I can add a little bit of blurry reflection. I mean, I can add reflection, I can add a little bit of blurry reflection on the standard renderer, but when it comes down to it, Octane just makes it look more realistic. And I think it's because it's a what is it? Physically accurate light, or what is it called?
Yeah, the unbiased thing.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Well, and the thing too is you got to keep in mind is that like Cinema 4D is trying to get closer to what many other third-party engines do, which is like, for example, Specular. Specular is a fake reflection.
It was around before reflection was reflection. Right.
Back when you couldn't do it.
Right.
So that's the whole thing, is that like before it was Specular and then they went to reflectance because it's more of a true thing, and you have your roughness in Octane.
It's basically you have reflection and how rough is the reflection.
Right. And that's basically what Specular is.
Yeah.
And then you have the different layers within that, like, and then you have bump. I like the bump in Octane.
I don't.
You don't like Perlin?
I mean, I would much rather be able to use a standard Cinema 4D noise. I can't.
You can?
I've never been able to get it to work right.
You can. It's a little weird, but you can get it to work.
Yeah. And most of the bump that I'm doing, I'm not creating from a noise. Most of the time, I'm creating from a map, and that's still just as easy, you know.
Well, I love a fine purlin with a low gamma.
Yeah.
That's really what makes it a fine purlin with a gamma, and I don't know. It's more natural looking to me, you know, like plastic or paper texture. You can make it look really good, really fast. You know, so that's it. The lighting is something too that makes Octane look better. Lighting is always more natural in Octane, which of course can be a hindrance because sometimes you need, like, you know, spotlights and junk, which that's where our plugin is going to come in.
Totally.
But you know, I guess that's another thing right there that you can do. So blur, textures. What else about textures is it? You've got, what else do you have? Your index.
Yeah.
Your index is a big deal.
Index basically controls it controls how metallic something is,
right?
You know,
and it's
index
either
of refraction. Yeah,
but it's like the way it works is if it's at the very bottom at 1, I believe, it's a
true
perfect mirror.
Yeah.
But then once you get any higher than that 1.1, it's like no reflection.
Yeah.
And then it goes back up from there, but it's a mix.
Yeah, if you jump it up to like 8, it's almost like a perfect mirror, but with a little bit of your color or whatever in it.
And if you have
your color,
your perfect mirror on, then the only way you can control color is by backing off the specular. Like if you have all your specular up at white, then it's going to be a perfect mirror. But if you back off the mix, then all of a sudden you're going to see the diffuse color coming through. Diffuse color is what's going to make it look like, if you're trying to do a gold, that's what you want to do. You want to have perfect mirror on. But then you turn on your kind of, you know, old, yellow orange-ish looking specular, and you turn on your yellow orange-ish looking diffuse. But then you back off the mix of the specular.
Okay.
So that it's mixing back into diffuse, but you're not changing your index from 1. Then at that point,
that's
you do whatever you want to do.
Because I normally don't stick it at 1. I jump my index or my index all the way up to 8, and then change my diffuse and my specular color.
You should try this.
Most of the time it's right there. I will try that. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like try gold. I think that's the secret to gold in Octane is keep your index at 1.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try that next time.
Rely on the specular mix.
With gold, I've always gotten my color, but found that once I start adding, like making it a rough color, I get much better gold.
And there's always going to be more blue in it than you think.
Really?
Yeah, that's the thing too. You know, you start getting into these oranges and brownish looking colors, or sometimes yellow, and you do your diffuse. And that's the other thing, is that it allows you to do a diffuse as well as the specular color. And you kind of get those colors. And you think you have it, but I'm telling you, if you take the blue and you just add a little bit of blue into it, it's going to just push it a little more toward white. Not white gold, well, closer to white gold than like gaudy gold. And it's just going to look a little more authentic. And then of course you can add roughness, which will blur it if you want. Or if you're going to do some sort of anisotropic texture, my advice is to go into bump and add that purlin, but then change your projection. Not your projection, but change your transform scale one way or another, so that you kind of really stretch out one of the axes, and then you'll get that kind of brushed.
Can you also do that in the reflection or the roughness as well? I've seen that done on some of the base textures that Octane provides. Yeah,
I think that would work too, or maybe a combination of both. Or, you know, the big thing is that you have to be careful about is that anytime you add bump to anything, you're automatically going to get roughness blur. It's going to look like it's roughness.
Yeah.
That's why you got to back those gammas down, like I was saying. Sometimes all the way down to like 0.1.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. Yeah, that's nerdy talk.
Yeah. My wife was listening to last week's and she goes, and I gave up once you guys started talking about stuff I didn't know.
Who said that?
Amy.
Oh, nice. So the other question Paul had was, will they release a version compatible with the new Macs of Octane? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
They plan on doing that.
But is it going to be as fast?
That's the big question. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That may be why it's delayed.
Is that going to be in version 3?
That will be in version 3.
Cool.
That's confirmed. And you know what? I'm going to check the forums because we talked about this last week about Alpha 3 for Mac coming out. So let me go real quick and just see where we're at on that discussion.
Cool.
That would be releases. Latest stable preview version. Okay. Oh, version 3, Alpha 3.1 from 150. Oh, this is today?
Is it today?
What's today?
For PC? Today is the 17th.
Oh my gosh, it is out right now.
Is it?
Version 3.0, Alpha 3.1 for OS X. Downloading.
Where's that at?
Okay, man, this was...
Where
yeah,
this was
updated
forum?
Today. This was updated... No, it wasn't. 2 days ago.
Is that in the forum?
Yeah, go to the forum, go to Cinema 4D, and then you'll see, because...
I don't see Cinema 4D.
3.0 Alpha 3 is what he was waiting to come out.
Do I need to sign in?
Okay, you go to forum, you go down to plugin discussion /support.
Boy, what's my account name?
I don't think you have to log in to see it. Can you see the forums?
I don't know.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I mean, I can go to the forum.
You must be logged into a licensed customer account to download this file. Oh, It's because it's the alpha, you have to be a customer.
And what's my email address? I can't remember which one I did it as.
Well, I am logged in. Or did it just log me in? Let me try it again.
Forgot password. Dang it.
Oh,
See if I can do this.
I'm totally going to be playing with this tonight.
Check your email. All right. I'm sure the listeners are really enjoying this right now.
I know.
Now that we've...
It's just too exciting, though.
It's all right. Maybe just skip ahead. Not.
Oh, so exciting. There we go. I accept the terms, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, it's downloading. I'm so excited.
All right. What should my password be?
I can't wait. I saw some good stuff on Turbulence FD, because you can use Turbulence FD with Octane 3.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Which is totally dope.
Okay. Forum. Now, where's Cinema 4D? Is that
so
demo version question and discussion?
You go to forum and then you go down to
plugin discussion and support.
Plugin discussion, and then you go to Max on. That's where you need to camp. If you're a Cinema 4D person, you got to camp there, and then you'll see releases is at the top.
Okay. Releases.
You click on releases, and you go to there's the second one down, 3.0 or version 3 Alpha 3.1. And that's where you find it.
Sweet.
Sweet. And I
download.
You might need to get the standalone, but I'm not sure. But you can see the attachment that he has there, like some flame, which is awesome. It's Turbulence FD container with like fire and smoke and the whole deal. So that's the rest of my
And what do
night.
I do? Just throw all these dlibs and stuff?
Well, here's the thing. Remember...
First, remove all Octane-related stuff from plugins and main folder in Cinema 4D.
But don't delete it. Like, because you're going to have to, like, go put it back if you have issues.
Yeah.
So, like, take that, call it, like, version whatever, latest... stable, and tuck that into another folder and then install that. So that'll be fun.
Maxon R16.
So
is it library? I don't know.
Oh,
Where am I supposed to go?
The other thing I'm reading right now, we switched to CUDA 7, which means on Windows and Linux, you may need to update NVIDIA. You need the latest CUDA driver for Mac, supporting at least 7. I'm trying to remember now CUDA driver, because if you're a Mac person, you got to remember you have the two things. You have the NVIDIA drivers that you got to maintain, and then you have the CUDA drivers that you also have to maintain. As far as CUDA drivers, I believe, I'm on 7.0 something. There is an update available for 7.5, but I'm not going to do that unless I have to, because that can be a pain, as you and I know.
Okay, so, all right, I think I got it.
So that's fun. I'm not installing it right now. I'll do it later, but so that answers your question.
Yeah, totally.
Now, if you want to try it on something else, that's the thing. I don't even know. I don't have a computer to put it on that's not NVIDIA.
Yeah, I might be able to put it on one of our trash cans at work. We've got a few of them.
You should try that. You'll have to deactivate.
Now is it
reactivate? And,
can you put? Will this version run on GPU at all?
Well, that's.
CPU.
No, not CPU, but on OpenCL.
Okay, so could I install this on my laptop now?
That's the question. But your laptop is NVIDIA.
Is it?
I believe so.
I don't think it is.
I believe it is. I believe all the laptops are still NVIDIA, and like the trash cans are the ones that are using the whatchamacallit,
AMD or whatever.
AMD, ATI. They're the same company now, right? Is that right?
Oh, I have no idea.
I can't remember. One of them bought the other one.
Jeez. You know,
anyway,
I bought this laptop. I still haven't even opened it.
At all?
At all.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Now, I'm pretty sure that the laptops are still NVIDIA.
So why don't I see this?
So it really, basically, I mean, it uses your same
Intel
login.
HD Graphics 4000.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that would be a good test. You're going to have to do a deactivation and a reactivation.
That's okay. I can do that.
But you can only do one per hour, so.
That's okay. I won't have a reason to use it within the next hour.
Man, I'll be interested to see. Maybe, look, complete rewrite, changes since 2.24.2. This is on the main standalone version 3, Alpha 1 here. It says complete rewrite of the integration kernels to provide the foundation for major 3.x features like OpenSL and OpenCL.
Man. All right, I got to go grab my laptop real quick. Because I got to try this.
Yeah, but you're going to have to install...
Yeah, but I can do that while we're talking.
Are you going to install Cinema 4D while we're talking?
I've got Cinema 4D on my laptop. I just would need to install...
I thought you hadn't opened it yet.
No, my old laptop.
Oh, your old laptop probably is an NVIDIA card.
No, it is the exact same laptop.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll keep talking about the changes while you get it. And
I'll be right
have
back.
A live answer. All right. So you've got that. You've got the added volume rendering, which that's really cool. And that's going to let you do the, I guess that's going to let you do volumetric, I think. Deep pixel rendering, I don't know too much about that. Added the environment medium. That's the big thing that will let you do, clouds. It will let you do flame and smoke and the whole thing. That's what I'm going to be playing with tonight. That's going to be cool. Animated texture frame support. What's weird about that is everybody's been talking about that. I guess what that means is that you're going to be able to use QuickTime files as textures, because I have done animated textures in Octane before, so I don't understand why that's a big hullabaloo. I guess because I've done animated textures as image sequence files. You could do it that way, and it actually works. Maybe they're saying that you can have animated QuickTimes as textures. Move the film buffer to the system memory to limit memory usage on GPU and solve various long-standing issues. I know nothing about that. Implemented tiled rendering for all kernels except PMC. Overhauled network rendering work distribution. and result transmission. I guess that's the network rendering thing, which I haven't had a chance to play with that much. Implemented a Photoshop workflow plugin and the generation of compositing files used by the plugin. That's cool. Added a login and delta syncing to Octane Render Cloud. It says that you can't create a Render Cloud account yet, but it'll be possible soon. I think we talked about that on one of the other shows where there is that little link up there now where you can try it. Added a raw/filter beauty filter beauty passes. I'm not sure what that means exactly in the beauty passes section. The motion blur for panoramic cameras, that's actually pretty cool because that means if you're doing any sort of VR that you could do motion blur. You could not do that before.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I can't find my laptop.
After all that.
Yeah, but I've got Cinema
booting
40 installed on my iCrap, so I'm going to try that.
Gosh, jeez. That's not a good comparison. See, what I'd like to do is maybe call up Lance because he has access to my old machine at work.
Yeah.
Which was the hardcore, like 12-core Mac, the top of the line. Mm-hmm. And it's got dual 6 gig ATI cards or whatever they are.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll ask him because they do have an extra Octane machine and maybe they could just move a license and see what it does.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Added tangent normal and opacity info passes.
Okay, that's
support.
cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Support for second and third UV set and displacement textures. And replace the shift parameter of the displacement node with mid-level, which is normalized to the 0 to 1 range of the displacement texture. Interesting.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
So that's basically what they did there. There are known issues right now.
There are known issues?
There are some known issues, which region rendering is broken, apparently.
It's all right.
They're working on that. I don't use it that much.
Yeah, I've only used
it a couple
once.
times. Yeah. In the near future roadmap, they say the plan is to have the new alpha beta releases soon as new features are implemented. The next major feature will be texture baking, which will be in alpha 2, which I think they're on alpha 3, right? So maybe that's there already. Mm-hmm. So that's good. And they got the Photoshop workflow plugin now.
Oh, really? What is that?
Yeah. So...
What's the Photoshop workflow
It's via
plugin?
the Adobe Exchange platform. I don't know. I need to look it up. It's Photoshop extension ZXP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I could go to like the latest thread and see what they've written, but I don't see much. Here we go. Standalone 3.0 Alpha 1 with 12 GPU.
What does that mean?
I don't know. This is just what somebody wrote. Display choppiness, rendering slower. Interesting. So I'm just looking at some of the feedback.
Oh, does this have support for the bookcase builder?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, it will be interesting to see. This is actually good because I want to know if our plugin is going to be working with version 3 or if I'm going to have to sit there and fix a bunch of stuff when it comes out.
Yeah, totally.
Honestly, I think it would probably work out of the box. If I had to guess. You know, their changes usually don't really... I mean, and the way we're building it too, I don't think it really would affect anything because everything would work the same. There's nothing that's relying on like the base version 2 build, like the I don't know, like the developer's version or anything like that. So anyway, all right,
cool. This is exciting.
Yeah, real exciting. So to wrap up that whole discussion, we've got. You know, we're talking about being successful. So let's continue that conversation and say, okay, what makes you successful at something?
Money.
Is it though?
I don't know.
Because that's what I was going to say. Is it money? Is it achieving a specific goal? Is it achieving all your goals? You know, is it having a certain reputation? Is it a combination of those things? You know, like,
I don't know. I
being,
think it all depends on what the individual thinks is the most important. If to the individual, you know, if you think the most important thing is money and you make a lot of money, then I think you might think that you're successful. If the most important thing to me is that every day I can go to work and I don't have to worry about bills and, you know, I get to have fun every day.
that's success.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all up to the individual.
Because I think accomplishing goals is a big part of it, but I don't see it as like, I never have one giant goal that I want to accomplish. It's always small goals. This is the next thing I want to do, and I got to get to that point. And then maybe it's multiple things at one time. It's not necessarily that you have to hit each step goal to accomplish a goal. Like, I don't have to go in order. Maybe I'm doing 5 things at once, and I want to achieve all 5 of those goals at the same time.
You're always doing 5 things at once.
I'm always doing 5 things at once, you know. But that would make me feel successful. If everything I did and everything that I, like, let's say stuff that I rendered, everything I render, I look back a year prior, and I think that my work from a year ago isn't near as good as what I'm producing now. I would say that's one of the definitions of success, because that means that I'm doing better than I was before. You know, so not being stagnant, that's one way to be successful. And there's tons of preparation. You may not get a lot of gigs. You may be brand new. You may be just out of high school or college, and you are, again, you're asking maybe the question, like, why can't I get my stuff to look like people's?
Yeah.
You know, why all these renders that I see look so good, and why doesn't my stuff look like that? And again, it comes to the preparation thing. You want to be ready for when the opportunities come up, because success happens when preparation and opportunity meet. So you're going to be prepping, you're going to be practicing, you're going to be doing all of these different things, and maybe you don't have any good gigs at the time. But what you want to be able to do is, when that big opportunity comes along and says, hey, we need you to do this big thing, you're like, I totally know how to do that.
Yeah.
Because I've done this 100 times, maybe for fun, or I've done it for cheap, or there's a million different ways and a million different things you could have done to be prepared for that situation. But that's basically when success happens. So,
I don't know. Sorry, I'm like digging down into this 3.0 one. I'm so excited about it.
Is it working? Is everything running?
I don't know.
Is it open and running?
No. Do you want me to open up Cinema 4D and test it out?
Oh, I was just curious if you had the plugin actually working. But
no, I don't know. I was just nervous about opening it while I'm running my
recording.
Adobe.
Well, we don't have much else to talk about.
Error, tried to start DLL more than once. What does that mean?
That means you put all the libraries in there at the same time.
I'm not supposed
14,
to do that?
15, 16, 17.
Oh, right. So should I take them all out?
Just delete 14 through 16.
Well, I'm running 16.
Then delete 14, 15, 17.
Thank you. Let's see. Oh, application error and it crashed on me. Cool. Like you do.
Start. Like you do.
Well, that's because I deleted all that stuff while it was still open.
Oh, your laptop has 16 on it. Is that what you're saying?
No, my laptop is the only one that has 17 on it.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Don't send. Don't send. Let's give it a try. Let's open up Octane renderer. Okay. Cool. Let's see. Where am I at? Octane settings. Okay. I mean, it opens up. Let's see my account. My account is on there. Cool.
Okay.
Why will it give me the information on which version I'm running?
Well, I mean, it's only going to run the one version if that's all that's in plugins.
Yeah. So direct light. It's all
you need
there.
like a sample file you can run or something instead of having to start from scratch. Like I want like a Turbulence FD sample file. I'm sure somebody posted something in the forums like that you can try.
Color GUI type, slider type, Octane application,
pyro clusters, shaders. Yeah,
no.
I'm gonna have to dig into this and and see what happens. So let's finish out the show and then we can sit here and play with that.
Okay.
Here's a link. We got the Greebler plugin.
Yeah.
This is by Kuroyumi Development Zone.
Yeah.
The Pixel Lab put out a tutorial on how to use this.
So I saw this on, someone had done this on the Cinema 4D subreddit, so I looked up what it was, and I was kind of floored at how cool it was. And then I told Dave, I said, dude, have you seen this? And he goes, oh yeah, it's up on the Cinema 4D subreddit. Now we're going to get nothing but Greebler things.
Exactly.
Which is okay.
I'm like, brace yourself. Beeple knockoffs are coming.
Yeah.
Because what this is basically creates like futuristic geometry. Mm-hmm. So, like if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me just
think about like a Borg cube.
Ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. If you make a cube in the viewport, you can add this plugin and then it looks like a Borg cube right away, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's something that you've got to. Yeah, I'm hoping that this doesn't become like a big fad because you can see where it's going.
Here's the thing: it's been out for a long time.
It has.
Yeah, it has been out for a long time.
Yeah, I'm just curious if everybody's gonna try and do one a days with this plugin in it, and
it's
like, look, I'm Beeple.
Oh yeah, okay. Live Viewer 3.0. Here it is, Alpha 3.1.
Snap.
Sorry. To bring it back there.
And there's another plugin that I came across that somebody posted this week, I think on Twitter. It's the Proc 3 Dural. It's like German or something. Mm-hmm. It is a 3D noise generator. So
cool.
Imagine
it's got the login for the cloud.
Yeah, well the other one had the login for the cloud too. Yeah. Proc 3, basically, okay, imagine like you make a texture and it's got a cloud, like a bass noise on it that looks like a cloud. Mm-hmm. Well, it puts that noise on it. Now, imagine it kind of more like a geometry displacer in a way, where you can do different types of noise and it creates 3D noise.
That's cool.
So that's a good one. That's what I want to check out because that would be something that would be fun to incorporate with Octane if possible.
Did the original? Because I'm trying to think back to did it have this fog thing? Octane fog volume?
No, because the volume stuff is all new to 3.
That's cool. Playing around with it right now. That's neat.
Yeah.
Size, voxel size. What's that? Oh boy.
All right, so let's wrap up because I only have 2 other little things right here, and then we'll go.
Well, the main point of this one is that the new version of Octane is out, so go and give it a try.
So I guess we'll play with it this week, and we'll report back on next week's show.
Well, the Octane volume thing has crashed my computer. Hopefully I'm still recording, which I am.
You're still recording?
Yes.
Okay, good. So the Craptacular Turd Polishing Contest is going to go live. I don't know if we'll go live with it this week or next.
Oh, the logo's so awful.
Yeah, it's so awful in a good way. We got it from Lance. He did a Craptacular logo for the contest, and he did a
Craptacular logo for the Craptacular.
Yeah, and it's called the logo that has to be animated And this is the problem that you run into a lot with clients is they send you something that's like got a lot of 2D in it that you got to turn into 3D somehow. And it's got to look exactly like it.
Yeah.
And so this place is called Wham Bam Automotive. And it's got a car, it's got a banner, kind of a cartoon looking car, and it has Wham Bam with like kind of, Batman-ish whams and blams and stuff on it, and smoke. And like, how do you turn something like that into 3D and still make it look like the original 2D logo?
Yeah.
That's going to be the contest. We'll put that out. I think we'll probably give a month on that for people to get to. We'll also do a quick promo on the YouTube channel that talks about it too for people who aren't listeners to the podcast, and maybe do a Reddit post too.
Yeah. Maybe we could do a side-by-side Reddit post with them and like say, you know how they do a monthly, Reddit contest? Maybe we could do that.
That could be cool.
Winner gets a free copy of our plugin.
Ooh. Yeah, we will have to do that.
Yeah.
We should offer that up.
Yeah.
So that's good to go. And then, of course, we did get the email from Casey. Did you send him his shirt?
I didn't.
You didn't?
I thought you were going to.
No, we had talked about it, and I was on the road, and but Casey, we did get your information, and we are sending it. So hang tight. But that's all I have for the show, man. I don't know if you have anything else to talk about.
No, I'm ready to dig my hands into this.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Word. All right.
So rate us on iTunes. If you like us, leave a rating and a review and tell other people. That kind of gets the word out there and helps us in the charts. Also, please subscribe to the podcast if you're just a listener who listens to maybe the audio by itself, or maybe you listen on like a weird podcatcher that kind of distributes the audio differently. Like if you can subscribe to us on iTunes, or if you have a bunch of computers with iTunes on it, subscribe them all to us just so we get the ratings. That would be great.
Word.
You can subscribe to us on the YouTube channel, Brograph Tutorials. That is on YouTube. That is our main place where all of our stuff goes out, and you will get updates on everything there. You can say you've been there, you've done that, and you got the t-shirt. You can get the No Brograph, No Mograph tee. And to take our relationship to the next level here, you can get on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, start following us. Instagram's going to show our almost dailies. Twitter and Facebook, we post almost identical content. Not exactly.
We answer a few more questions on Twitter.
Yeah.
I sent out a tweet tonight asking, what questions you have for. Okay. Here, Paul Robinson. Did you get that? Oh, yeah, you got it.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Okay,
earlier.
yeah, because I sent out a tweet about what questions do you guys have tonight. Word. Okay.
And of course, again, YouTube and Brograph.com is where you can check out everything else. We got a blog on Brograph.com as well, which sometimes we put some stuff on there as well. So that about wraps it up, man.
Totally.
I got no mo. It's been a busy week. It's gonna be another busy week.
Yeah, it is.
Hopefully we'll have some Octane 3 stuff to report back next week.
Heck yeah, next week's gonna be a big one.
Maybe.
Got
so much going on. I don't know how much I'm gonna accumulate in my notes unless you come up with a bunch of stuff. But
I mean, I'll probably have time to play with it this week, so
cool.
As long as it doesn't keep crashing my computer like it just did. So
well, that's why it's an alpha.
Yep.
So
cool. Well, did you give them the email address? If you have
Brograph.
Brograph at brograph.com. Is that right?
Yes.
All right.
And maybe we'll put in some questions again on Reddit for some podcast questions.
Totally.
That would be cool because it's been a while since we've done that.
Cool.
So maybe we'll answer some of that. If you have questions, please send them to that address as well. And or Twitter us or whatever, and we'll add them because it always makes for good content. We love answering people's questions, and it doesn't have to be something super deep and profound or super technical. It can be simple. You can be an old pro. You can be a noob. It doesn't matter. We take all questions seriously.
As long as we can understand your English.
The translation.
Yes.
Yeah. We try.
Cool.
We try. We really do. All right, until next week, I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
Have a good one.
Later, bros.
pretty good, I guess. Brograph.com, an online resource for learning critical components of Cinema 4D and After Effects, specifically catered to help you prevail as a motion graphic designer.
What's up, bros? Welcome to another Brograph motion graphics tutorial.
We give you professional time-saving tips, shortcuts, and lessons that help give you an edge over your fellow designers. Not only this, but our new Brograph Talks help you in your file management, hardware configuration, and client relations.
I love projects that scare me. When our art director comes to us and asks for something that I had never done before, man, it gets me pumped.
Join us for live sessions, check out our crazy Cinema 4D experiments, or just watch our Fun with Brograph series, where we show you practical applications for techniques learned in previous tutorials. Do this from the beginning, and your client is going to respect that, and they're going to respect you, and they're going to respect your time. Subscribe today and get automatic updates on the latest tutorials, tricks, tips, and inspiration brought to you by industry professionals Dave Koss and Matt Milstead, all with a slight dash of dry humor peppered in. Real nice banana.
Brograph.com, your source for tutorials that will help you thrive in the motion graphics industry. Don't just play around with Cinema 4D and After Effects, master it, and make money by becoming indispensable at your workplace.
We don't care how you get here, folks. Just get here. Subscribe now to Brograph Tutorials. It's pretty good, I guess.